right. Well, thank you for taking time to join us. I already did the intro.
My pleasure.
Before we start, David Fink, Director of Programming, the World Players of Handball. Thanks for coming today.
Thanks for having me, Paul. It's great to be here.
Before we start, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and your relationship with handball?
Well, I started playing handball probably about the time I could walk, around 2 or 3 years old, and started playing in junior tournaments when I was about 11. Paul, I probably started seeing you at the New York Athletic Club when I was about 15.
Yeah.
And I know I saw you play before that. I remember watching you at the Nationals in Baltimore. Probably I was about 12 or 13, 1991. And qualified as a pro when I was 17. Took a break and came back when I was 29. Took off from about 20 till 29. And really the WPH is what got me back into handball. I started watching the live streams that the WPH was doing. I think it was the 2006 US Open. It was not the first, but one of the first streams that the WPH had done. WPH was formed in 2005 and sort of started really getting the itch to play and be a part of the sport. And Dave Vincent and I announced our first match together in 2007 and just kind of have been doing it ever since. And I moved to Tucson in 2013 to work full-time for the WPH. I think, Paul, your next question is probably going to be how the WPH formed.
Yeah. I was curious about how it's formed. I mean, you guys do a phenomenal job of video.
Thank you.
Production for handball. I mean, I haven't seen anything close to that ever. You saw the old footage that people would have on black and white and NBC years ago, but you took it up to another level, WPH. So I was just amazed that you're doing it this long and doing it better every year. So I was just curious about, I mean, you said it was formed in 2005, but why was it really formed? What was main idea and concept of?
Well, our mission statement is growing the game of handball through innovation. Mm-hmm. And the first step in that was streaming and recording these great matches, because for so many years, and Paul, you know this, the Pro Tour was going on. You'd never see any of the matches. They weren't filmed or streamed. And,
right.
Dave Vincent and Jeff Kastner, who still works with us, decided they wanted to start live streaming these tournaments. And I think the Washington Athletic Club in 2005 was probably the first one. And then there was the Casey Lawler Cup. And, instead of, if you couldn't make it to the tournament, you could watch these great matches from your living room on your computer. And
right.
As you said, it's gotten better each year. And just on the Race for 8 tour alone, we broadcast 1,500 matches, and we broadcast a number of matches outside of that as well, indoor and outdoor. So it's been tremendous. And of course, I have to give most of the credit for all that great streaming and filming you watched to our broadcast team: Chris Garrad, Linda Manning, Jeff Kastner, Shay Lowenstein, Kara Mack, Dave Vincent. These are the people that are doing the work of 100 people with 3 or 4 people. They're really amazing. They're so hardworking, and they're the reason that we're able to have the kind of video quality that you see each tournament.
So, I mean, with the pros that you have, I know you have the Race to the 8 for the men. Is there a Race to the 8 for the women also, or how?
Yeah, the is called the Women's Race for 8. That started in 2013 at the Simple Green US Open. So the women have had 11 seasons. The men have had 13 seasons. And the senior tour, which is the 40 plus pro tour, started in 2012. So 12 seasons. So about 3 or 4 times a year, we'll have all 3 tours playing at the same event. Some events are just the Race for 8 men. Sometimes it's just the women and the men. Just depends. But every year we start with all 3, generally in Tucson. And then we end with all 3 in Salt Lake City in May at the Players Championship. And sprinkled in between, we'll have women's stops. For example, this season, the women played in Tucson. They'll play again in Montana at the end of January. And then they'll play again in March at the Los Angeles Athletic Club. And then they'll finish the season in Salt Lake City. So the women will have 4 stops. The men will have 9. And the seniors will have 3.
What determines the pro stops locations?
Well, you're a part of the New York Athletic Club, so hosts bid, and there's a contract that the host has to put up a certain amount of money, and in return, we are responsible for bringing the top players. and the host, keeps the entry fee money and whatever donation money they're able to raise for the tournament. And we in turn use the sanctioning money to help us with the prize money and also the filming.
Who are you currently? You have the top two in the male, female, and your senior. Who are the top two players in those categories?
Martin Mulkerns has really separated himself as the clear number one on the Race Parade Tour right now. He's won 5 straight stops.
Yeah.
That's only happened once before in the history of the tour. So this is current. He's won the last 5 tournaments, and he's just playing outstanding. This season, he's won the first 2 stops. He hasn't lost a game, been very dominant. Luis Cordova is number 2. He's always, since I'd say 2020, he's been either in the semifinals or finals of just about every stop. At one point, he had made 26 straight semifinals or better up until earlier this season. So he's been very consistent. He was number 1. He's won 10 titles. On the women's, Katrina Casey is still technically number 1. She's won 29 titles and 31 starts. She's probably the most dominant athlete in pro sports. Unfortunately, she tore her ACL.
Yes, he was there when she did. Yeah.
Okay. So that was very, very unfortunate. I feel terribly.
Oh.
So she won't be playing this season. So after the next stop, her points will likely drop off. And Sienna won the first stop this year. So if Sienna does well in the next stop in Montana, I think she'll probably be number 1 based on Katrina's injury and not being able to play. Michaela Esser from Tucson is number 2. She's had a really great rise up the ranks. She didn't start playing until college, but she really developed her game outdoors. I think gaining her confidence, winning a lot of the 3-wall stops that we do every year. And she's carried that momentum and that style into 4-wall. And on the seniors, I'm ranked number 1. And Dave Munson, who's also
Dave
ranked Parade Tour, he's number 2. So Dave has made 2 finals in his 3 senior starts since he started playing the tour earlier this year. He made the semifinals of the stop where he didn't make the final. So he's been either in 3rd or 2nd in his 3 stops.
Does Dave's brother still play?
He plays, but he doesn't play on the senior tour. He's only played in 1 race stop. He played in a qualifier about 6 or 7 years ago. Yeah. And that's the only time I've seen him on the tour.
Right. Okay. So I hear you. So I know you do primarily 4-wall, but you said outdoor. So outdoor, are you doing 1-wall and 3-wall, or what are you?
Well,
outdoor?
We introduced a 3-wall stop to our Race Parade Tour for the first time. So that was in 2021. Yeah. All the race stops had been 4-wall up until that point.
Okay.
So we've had 90 Race Parade events since the inception of the tour in 2011. That started at the Plummer Bash in Idaho, 2011. So since 2021, we've added 3-wall each December. It's called the December Race Parade Icebreaker. Yeah. So of the 90 stops, 3 of them have been 3-wall. We did run a very successful WPH outdoor tour for many years that was primarily based in Southern California, but we also had stops in Tucson, Salt Lake City, I think a couple of other places. One was in Mexico, and we have had 1-wall stops, not as part of the race tour, but the 1-wall stops were part of the WPH outdoor tour, where we would have sometimes 3-wall and 1-wall, or sometimes we would have 3-wall and 4-wall, some combination. Most of the WPH outdoor stops have been 3-wall big ball, either short wall or long wall.
Okay.
In Las Vegas, that was our biggest kind of our players championship for the WPH outdoor. And I don't think you've been there, Paul, but there's 3-wall and 1-wall in Las Vegas.
No, I've heard about it. I know Joe Kaplan tells me about it all the time. And a few players come out there and they say that it's a great tournament. I wish I was younger to be able to compete in some of these again. But, sometimes I'm tempted to just go out there and just try and do something. So you may see me out there maybe at 25.
Oh, cool. Good.
So have you had any ideas about doing any kind of 1-wall in New York?
It's definitely on the table. If we could make it work, it's something we would definitely look into. Yeah. And we've got, I think, a good relationship with the 1-wall community. We've had a number of the 1-wall players attending our stops from Timbo. If you go back a few years, Rookie has played. Okay. Gio has played. So we've had some of a number of the top 1-wall players. I we've had Kadeem as well. Kadeem has played in Las Vegas. Taiwan has played in a number of stops. He's played 3-wall and 1-wall. Some of the new guys that have emerged in the last 2 or 3 years, I haven't seen live, but I'd love to watch, like Naz. I know he's been doing very well lately. Yeah. I've also never seen Avo play live, and I'd love to watch him. He's very exciting, dynamic.
Naz is definitely phenomenal. I saw his whole match while he was at the Worlds when he won the ball this year, and I never really saw him play, but it was phenomenal to watch. He's great.
Tremendous. Very good. I love watching the 1-wall singles. One of my favorite codes to watch, the 1-wall big ball singles.
The so if you're an aspiring player, because everyone, I did some segments on junior handball, high school handball, some collegiate, and if someone wants to think about aspiring to be a pro player, like, is it because they're competing in nationals or other tournaments to be able, or do they have to just try and attend your pro stops? What is the path like?
Well, in terms of becoming a pro player on the Race for 8, you have to play in one of our race stops, and they're open, so anyone can enter. Sometimes, depending on the court situation, we may cut off the entries at 32 players. We've gone as high as 53 players in St. Louis. They have a lot more courts. Dang. But generally, you can always get in. I think it's very rare that we've had to close the entry. But, if you're able to enter and you travel and you make it to the round of 16 of the pro division, you're getting a ranking. The top 16 players earn a ranking. And we do have a 17th place playoff. So that's another kind of a backdoor way to get a pro point if you win that for the players who lost in the round of 32. So we only rank, in terms of our rankings, the Race for 8 events. So of course, playing in the nationals and these other big tournaments are great for experience. But in terms of the ranking, we rank our stops. So this year we have 9 stops. They're all open to anyone. You just have to get into that top 16 or top 17. And generally each year we have somewhere between 7 to 10 stops. So there's a lot of opportunities for players. I know we've seen some guys from New York coming out. In the past, we've had a number of guys from New York qualify. Mike Schneider, who I just saw did well in the Players' Championship last week, is a guy that did well. Billy O'Donnell at one point did well. So yeah, it's exciting. And, we've got a lot of young guys on the tour right now, 22 or younger, that are not only qualifying, but Ray Yer just made the finals of the last stop in Portland. Mark Doyle was in the semifinals. Those guys are 22 and 21. A lot of very great players that are young right now breaking.
Do you do anything with like juniors that are in high school to like get them in any kind of training program? I know you have the foundation, and I've seen pictures where you do clinics with some of the pros that work with some of the kids at some of the pro stops. Do you intend on having maybe a competition with some of the top kids in different states, like how the nationals, I know the USHA has their junior nationals, any type of collaboration with that, or, filming a major tournament with just junior players?
We've done a lot with the USHA. Every year we run a pro stop with the USHA in April in Tucson. Okay. And there's a nice junior draw there. There's kids from Tucson and Phoenix in Mexico, New Mexico, California. So we've done a lot of junior events. And like you said, we do a number of junior clinics throughout the year, hundreds of clinics that we host. A number of our top players like Martin Mulkerns and Daniel Cordova, myself, Ray Yer, Killian, are all hosting clinics regularly for kids, whether it's in where we live or when we travel to events. And, there's kids at the tournaments that, want to learn from the top players.
Right.
And we've had, a number of, particularly on the WPH Outdoor Tour, number of very big junior events, 50 or more kids. And, we not only inspire new players, but we support existing programs. We've supported, when Danielle was working at the Westside YMCA, the Harry Mellis program, we supported that for a number of years. So things like that, we're always seeking opportunities to, either inspire new players or to support existing programs and the coaches.
So, okay, here's the other question, which is close to the final question. But if you're a pro player, what's like the highest you think you can make? I know it's not
our price,
the NBA and
yeah. I mean, so we have race freight event, a full stop, there's a minimum of $20,000 in prize money.
Okay.
We have a race freight light stop, which is about half that prize money. We have maybe this season, we have 2 light stops out of 9. And then we have the Memorial and the Players Championship. Those are sort of supercharged events where the prize money is doubled or maybe even more than doubled to 50,000 in the pro bracket. So, all told, it's, well north of $200,000 in prize money.
Right.
Now, obviously, the number one player doesn't win all of that, but the prize money breaks down first through 16, and it's split. Yeah, basically, obviously, the number one player, the guy who wins it, gets the most prize money, and then it kind of cuts in half as you go down the line.
Still not bad for a weekend's work.
I'd say, very good. Yeah, I think Martin's done very well. He's definitely earned it, as well as he's played in the number of tournaments he's won.
Okay, so what would you like our viewers to end up with? What would the WPH? What would help them, or what would you like to see from our viewers, or how could we help expand handball, or what would you like to see?
Well, first of all, I want to thank everyone who's out there supporting us and watching our events. And we definitely really appreciate that. And that's why we're doing it. We want to, broadcast and showcase the world's greatest players to, draw new players into the game and to inspire the existing players. But I would really recommend, if you're not already there, going to our website, WPHlive.tv. And we're posting stuff every day. We post more than 400 articles every year. Everything from tournament recaps, not just our tournaments, but right now we're recapping the World Championships. Pretty much any big tournament that's happening, whether it's the Albany Open or, Texas State Singles or the Bear Bash. Generally every weekend there's going to be at least one of those that we're going to, recap and write about. We've also got promoting all the tournaments, promoting the entries. We do have a lot of cool sections, WPH coaching centers, which teaches players how they can improve. Also, I think it's great for coaches who want to learn techniques, how to teach new players. We've got a very extensive pro bios where you can learn about every player who's ever played on our tour. Anyone who's ever earned a ranking is going to be found on that bio page, and a lot of cool information there. And of course, we've got the statistics, thousands and thousands of stats from the Race Freight Tour on the fun facts, player interviews, destination series where we highlight certain handball communities and cities, venues, legends corners.
A lot of
where are they now? Player features, guest writers, rising stars corner, rankings. There's a lot to be found there,
right?
And it seems a little bit overwhelming, but if you're ever looking for anything, go onto our site, go down to the bottom right under search, and just type in what you're looking for. It'll come up.
Well, I always think that's important because even though we may think as handball players, there's a lot of information, there's still a lot of people that don't know anything about handball at all.
Right.
And I always say that all the time. And that's the purpose of this, just to get people who are not even in the handball mix now to be able to, go to different sites, find out more information, hear from the people who are actually doing it, that this does this. And there's a lot of opportunity in all aspects in the sport of handball.
Yeah. I mean, even a lot of handball players don't know about our site, unfortunately. I think, they would really enjoy it if they did, because even if you're not a 4-wall player, there's a lot of WPH outdoor. There's outdoor coverage on there, so there's really something for everyone who's interested in handball on our site.
Right.
So, a lot of people don't know we do juniors, how much activity we do with growing the game with young players. They think maybe we just film matches or that maybe we just do the pro tour, but we really do so much more because, we have, like I said, 9 or 10 race stops a year. Plus we do 3 or 4 summer icebreakers, which are 3-wall events generally in Tucson. And outside of that, we have a lot of other things that we're always doing.
Well, Dave, thank you for sharing this information with our viewers. And, this is a live stream that, people can access later on and they can ask questions. And so I may actually, send some questions your way, as people view it. And this way, keep the conversation going and, try and get people more involved with handball.
That sounds great, Paul. Thanks very much for having me.
Okay. I
Yeah.
hope you enjoyed this episode of All Things Handball. I'm Paul Williams with Dave Fink, and thank you until next time.